Welcome to Ready to Mosh, a podcast all about rock, metal and alternative music. I'm Kev P.
And I'm Gem J. Each episode will bring you the latest news, talk about new releases and review gigs and festivals that we've been to. There'll be a smattering of guest interviews and a lot of random chat.
As well as the podcast, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at Ready to Moshcast. Welcome to episode 16 of Ready to Mosh, and it's another special guest interview.
Yep, this week we have a chat with Lake Malice.
Yeah, so Lake Malice were one of our reviews. We reviewed their last single, Magic Square.
Yeah.
And we also mentioned them in the download review. Yeah, it was a great interview. Really good to talk with Blake and Alicia again.
Yeah, we actually met them at Download in the courtyard after their performance there in the RIP stage. Had a chat with them there and mentioned if they wanted to come on the podcast, and then it's now happened. Yeah,
and Blake had already mentioned that he listened to the podcast as well, which kind of was a bit of a head fuck, I think, for me.
Yeah, when we hear that people actually listen to us.
But yeah, especially when it's a band that we like as well. Yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoy this. And it's Lake Malice next.
So in this week's episode, we've got another guest interview. We've got Blake and Alicia from Lake Malice. How are you doing, guys?
Hey,
yeah, very good. Just woke up from a nap, but very good.
Yeah, to give you context, it's 7:30 in the evening, so yeah, nice one.
Rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, no, I'm good as well, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're all good, thank you.
Yeah, we're all good, thank you. Okay, we'll get on with the questions then. So the first question we've got is, when and how did Lake Malice begin?
So we started the project about a year and a couple of months ago now, because the first single came out in August, didn't it? So
yeah,
it's a year in August from the first single. Must have been, a year and a couple of months. We met on a Facebook group, because our Facebook page. Yeah,
it was Brighton Metal page or something like that.
Metal people.
Yeah, Brighton Metalheads or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I was looking for a project, and I really wanted to do something a bit heavier because I haven't done anything like that in a while, and I just posted stuff on several groups, like local groups in Brighton or stuff like that, and he obviously Blake was one of the people who sent me some demos and sounded really interesting. And from there, we just started to chat on Messenger, like two proper boomers. And and then everything started from there. We just started writing online and about that time. So, all during the pandemic. So interesting times.
I'd always done like generic sort of metalcore stuff, because mostly my friend group where I lived in Hastings at the time was just, I think, into that sort of stuff, and I kind of always wanted to try something from like a more, I don't know, open-minded, almost like a pop approach to metal. And when I saw like the influences that Alicia put on that Facebook post, I was like, okay, shit, this is actually like the sort of thing I've been dying to do for so long. So yeah, I just like messaged her thinking, she's probably gonna have like hundreds of people wanting to do a project like that.
Thousands.
Probably thousands. And no. I didn't really expect much to come of it, to be honest, but I just like got working on demos straight away, like in that style that she kind of, posted about, and the style that I'd always kind of wanted to do. I was like, okay, let's give it a go. Yeah, and obviously, clearly just our tastes were pretty well aligned. It was quite kind of like right place, right time, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just both.
So when you talk about obviously kind of like your tastes aligning, I suppose who or what are your influences?
So for me, it's this massive melting pot. So it all comes down to like kind of picking what you really want to put into your music from what you listen to. It was quite difficult at first because we didn't really know what direction to take. But I was saying mainly, I haven't listened to metal in a long time, but when Spirit Box came out, I just found a lot of confidence in myself to come out and just start doing it again. I did it when I was like in my early 20s. I'm 30 now, so it's been a long time. And I just thought, I shouldn't do that anymore. I'm a grown up. Why should I scream on stage? Those stupid thoughts that make you doubt about yourself and what you like. So one of those bands that came out and really just gave me like this kind of, like, that sounds amazing. Why shouldn't I do that again, just like I did before? And so a bit of obviously metalcore influence, but then lots of alternative pop music as well. I've been listening to lots of Grimes. Charlie XCX is one of my main influences. I really like what she does and what she's done. Maybe not recently, but some previous work of hers were really experimental in terms of like pop music, getting to quite an extreme part of pop that is a bit more like towards this there's like a collective of artists that called itself PC Music. I believe it was in the London area, that included artists such as Sophie, Dorian Electra, Slater, Girlfriend of the Year. I mean, just that stuff, a lot of that stuff. And then, lots of hip hop, new metal as well. Absolutely, new metal is one of the big ones. Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Korn, whatever. Throw it at me. I'm always, always going to be into that.
Yeah, pretty much same for me as well. To be honest, like I just discovered like that year during lockdown, I just went on like a big binge of just discovering music. I think it was like 2020. I just kind of found my tastes drastically change. I was just getting really, really inspired by this new sort of wave of like bands just that I now feel like we're kind of, we've had opportunities to sort of like almost meet some of these bands that I started off being really inspired by. Like Wargasm, for example, got me so like, got my mind open to how you can incorporate so many, elements into music. Metal doesn't have to just be breakdowns and riffs, and you can add like elements of drum and bass and things like that, and you can just really throw whatever you want at it to express yourself. And like Wargasm were really influential to me for that. And then there's other bands like Vukovi who kind of like they have some really stonking riffs, like some really nasty sort of heavy riffs, but also it's wrapped up in this like pop production, and the vocals just kind of sit on top in a really beautiful way, and it's just
so catchy.
And that drove us to want to work with the guy that produced some of their music, Bruce Rintoul. So that kind of guided us in a certain direction to begin with. So bands like that, and this is all stuff that I discovered, at the beginning of the year before I met Alice, and it was just kind of weird because I think our aspiration to do what we're doing now was really close to, to sort of this music that I discovered and you've been listening to for a while, and it kind of I think it just kind of felt like at the right time for me to to begin that sort of project. It was really, really cool. I'm not sure I mentioned, but Grimes is just like, she blows my mind. Like her production and her songwriting is just insane, and I feel like if we can achieve some of the chaos that she can achieve in her productions, like some subtle like chaos of the layering of instruments. Then
so ethereal.
Then I feel like we'll be kind of to offer something really cool, in that sort of heavier spectrum of music. I think it's like Grimes can kind of like make stuff feel heavy without making heavy music as we know it. It's almost like
but that's how I feel about like Charlie XCX.
And Charlie as well.
There's songs where you feel like you're literally moshing to, and it's pop.
It's pop,
It's kind of definitely.
But also
some
like
violence in it.
Well, and I've also grown up on metal. Like Metallica was like pretty much my favorite band when I first discovered heavy music until like I was 14. And I always want to make sure that in this project we can throw in big heavy riffs, and like really just like crushing stuff, but also we can take it to sort of the more sort of Poppy side of stuff as well. And Poppy, by the way, is an awesome artist that really inspires us both as well in this project.
Okay, so when it comes to writing the music, do you normally write the music first or the lyrics first, and are you both involved in the writing process?
We started off writing, obviously, during lockdown, so we couldn't meet up. So it was mainly me just kind of sitting there, coming out with riffs and things. And as a guitarist, generally, I think most guitarists, they wait until they've got what feels like a good riff and then try and build a song around that. So that's kind of how we started doing things. But now I think our approach is kind of is slightly different, I think, in a way.
For think we just have a structure that we apply. Like we don't have a one size fit all for songwriting. Sometimes it comes from a melody that Blake wrote with synths or with guitars, depending on the vibe of the song, and sometimes it starts from my lyrics. I started writing lyrics a lot more at the moment, so it kind of becomes more like the music is there and then we try to adapt the lyrics to it. But I used to, like, you know, up until a year ago, it was more like he wrote the music and then I will like kind of prioritize the melody and then write some words that will fit the melody, sacrificing a bit of meaning. So I feel like it's been evolving quite a lot from a year ago, I will say. But it is definitely like a process that is, how do you say it in English?
One word.
Togetherish.
Sounds like a real word.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. You know, I don't consider myself like much of a musician. So whenever Blake is writing and, you know, he's on Logic Pro doing his thing, what I do is usually just say, oh, maybe you could add this like da boom ba here. And that's my language to explain like what the drums could do or what like this kind of sound could be like. And then he spends 3 hours looking for a plugin or something that makes that sound so with a mouth. So it's very time consuming, very slow writers. But
can't we?
Yeah, that's the process.
Yeah. I think generally I will probably write, you know, like most of all the music pretty much, but we'll have a little bit of input from Bruce into our producer. He'll kind of take the synths and things that I've sent to him and be like, nah, this is crap, and they will just completely like change stuff that way. Not always, but but yeah, generally it's kind of more recently we've been kind of working together, and we just sort of sitting down, trying not to, like, one of the kind of the things we've been trying to work through is knowing when a song's done, you know, because it's quite easy this day and age, recording at home, writing at home, is to just kind of get a bit carried away and a bit too like zoomed in on one song, and you go like,
so
you need to reality check
this
yourself.
It's becoming like a therapy session for Blake. Saying, I'm sorry it takes me so long and I keep changing songs over and over. I don't mind, it's fine.
Sometimes we'll get to like the 20th version of a riff, and then the lead will just be like,
getting back to what it was before, it was nice. Why did you change it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think it's all part of the process. Sometimes we do need to probably like write more. I think that's one of our biggest weaknesses, is that we kind of we just, I guess we've been so busy this year.
Yeah.
We haven't. Yeah, but we're trying to hopefully get together a little EP, aren't we?
Yeah.
For some point in the future. So yeah, it's come. We've already got lots of new ideas sort of floating around. So
awesome. So correct me if I'm wrong, but your first tour was with Deathblooms?
That was the one.
How did you get the support slot for Deathblooms?
Right, so I believe we became part of the roster of Echelon Talent Agency slightly before that happened, didn't it? But I think it all started when Paul, who's the front, well, he's Deathblooms basically, is the front person in Deathblooms, saw an ad on Facebook of our music, which I was running at the time. And he was just really into the band, and I
tell you what happened. Like, I remember distinctly the beginning of this seed being sown. I woke up one morning, and bear in mind at this point we'd not done any gigs, we didn't have any contacts, any bands or anything like that. We were just an internet band that had a few followers, you know, somehow. And we had a comment on an As Everything Unfolds post, and I think the post was like about their Camden Assembly show, just sold out, and they were looking for support bands. And I'd seen that Paul Barrow, which is basically Deathblooms, he had posted "Get Lake Malice" on this show as a comment.
I did not remember that.
I remember reading it. No, it wasn't Paul Barrow posted it. It was actually, he posted it from the Deathblooms account.
Okay.
So. And then, like, I think I discovered Deathblooms like 2 weeks before. I was loving it. I was like, oh my god, this band is so sick.
Fangirling, real happy.
Yeah. But then, like, I read this comment, and like my brain was half asleep, and I was like, Deathblooms just commented our name to get as a support on an As Everything Unfolds show.
Yeah.
And it took me about 20 to 30 minutes to actually process that. I just kept reading it like, what? I didn't know what. It felt
So strange,
surreal.
yeah.
So surreal.
But yeah, he then told us that it's because if he saw an ad.
Yeah.
It was like supposed to be another band supporting, but because of COVID, they were coming from abroad, I think, overseas, and they couldn't make it. So he was like, "Do you want to come?" And we were like, "Yeah." and
just kind of went from there, didn't it? Yeah. He took a huge sort of gamble on us, I think. You know,
yeah, we never played live before, so there was.
We'd never done a single show before.
The trust.
We just went straight into a 12-day tour in 2 weeks, off the back of being an internet band. It was pretty weird.
That was actually the first time we saw you guys supporting Paul. And I think, was that your second gig?
Which show was that one, sorry?
The Nottingham one at Rock City Beta.
I think that was a couple of days in, I think, by that point.
Yeah.
But it was one of probably the fourth or fifth show, I think. Yeah. That Nottingham City show is so funny, man. Like I remember, because this was all new to us still at that point, and I remember trying to turn up backing vocals or something on my laptop, and it just paused everything. And then we just had to finish a song without the backing track, and none of us knew where we were in the song. And I remember it all finished, and I was just bright red. I was like, I don't know what's happened here. This is a mess. But obviously, it wasn't too noticeable. So
nobody noticed, right?
No, honestly, nobody noticed, and I think everybody was just loving the sound that you guys were producing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Licha?
And that's very good to hear that.
We were talking with Paul after the show, and we said to him at that point, like, the incredible support that you guys were. And Paul's words were, "Tell me about it. I'll be supporting them in a few years."
God.
He,
it makes it hard.
So
he believes in the project more than we believe in the project.
Yeah, that's mental. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were really good that night. As soon as you started playing, I was, totally hooked. Kind of like, what is this? I love this.
That's so good.
Thank you. It really helps with confidence, especially when you're like not, you haven't been doing it for a long time.
It felt like a weird show in a way, because that stage at Rock City Beta, is it Beta or wherever the stage was there, it was so high. And the rooms, in relation to the height of the stage, feels kind of small. So it feels like you're just quite exposed, and it's a weird sort of, it's like a corner stage as well. So you've got people from all angles.
There was a little mosh pit going on though. I remember somebody fell or something.
Oh.
Was it that?
You remember?
I think a couple of people went over that night.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you did well, guys. You can go now. That was awesome.
It's a strange little setup in Beta, because I think you guys have to come from the side and then come round to the stage.
Yeah.
And kind of work through the crowd.
Yeah. It was all right, though. It was absolutely amazing. More than what we could expect for a first tour, definitely.
Yeah. So. I was full on having tour sort of like, flu by that point. Like, it just goes around the van, and everyone's got a cold for like a couple of days. And I remember, like, the struggle was real at that point.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Sorry, we've got a dog barking in the background there. I'm not sure if that's being picked up or not. But
Sophie.
Pain in the arse. She wants to be on the podcast.
So you played at Download this year on the Park Farm Courtyard. How did that particular booking come about? And when did you find out about it? How far in advance?
It wasn't a lot in advance, actually. It was like, a month before? Was it a month in advance? A couple months, maybe?
Yeah, I think we knew.
We definitely didn't expect to play Download like this year at all. We were like, that's just not going to happen. And also, like, it's not the show that you expect in the first year you're doing stuff at all. So yeah, that's the last kind of, we had it in our objectives. Obviously, if you want to have a clear idea where you want to be, it's better for you to like kind of work hard towards your objectives. It's all great. We had it written down in like kind of dreams, list of things to tick, but definitely it wasn't like expected to happen this year. And I think it came through or management.
It came through Echelon, didn't it?
I thought it came through.
No, I think Liam got the offer. I think it was through Liam.
I don't even know.
I don't know who knows, but yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't realise they had a stage for like the RIP campers.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't know.
because I've never been RIP camping at Download. So when I found out about it, I was like, courtyard stage. Wow, what's that? It's like, what is this? What does this mean? But Paul had played it with Deathblooms a couple of years back, and he said, like, this is amazing. Like, yeah, this is a good opportunity for you guys. And I mean, just being, having the opportunity, like you say, to do Download in the first sort of like real year as a project is something we could never have expected.
Yeah,
we felt totally,
yeah.
Like we almost felt undeserving.
Oh, like kind of imposter syndrome, kind of.
Yeah,
there's so many people going on for so long that it makes you feel like, maybe I shouldn't be here. But then it's also amazing, so you gotta enjoy what life throws at you, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that the thing we've learned with, putting your hat in the ring, I guess, for gigs and things like that, is that sometimes things don't happen. Like it might feel like a certainty, but then things fall through or plans can change. So you kind of don't let yourself get too excited, I think, until you see that poster. And that poster comes out and you got your name on it. That's when you're like, oh my God, it's happening. And then you can get excited.
Exactly, yeah.
But
100%.
Yeah, so that was a cool moment seeing the Download dog on the poster and our little stupid logo on there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surreal.
I remember when we saw you on the lineup, it was like, oh my God, you're in the courtyard. That's amazing. We went straight there to the courtyard for that. It was it was a great performance as well. And
thank you. Really enjoyed it. Really liked it. Like, I've
never played a festival before. That's my first experience.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Scary.
It's good to have a big stage and be able to run and do things. And I was hoping not to trip over, and I didn't. And that's a win. And that's awesome. Like, what else could you wish for? It was insane.
Yeah, I found it quite stressful in a way because when you play a festival, you don't get sound check. I didn't realize that. Like,
okay,
and sound checks for us are so it's crucial because I think where we're free piece, we have a lot of instruments kind of on backing tracks for certain bits, and getting the levels of that stuff can be really worrying if you don't get to test that out before you play. Because sometimes that can really affect the performance, but also, you want the confidence knowing that you're going to walk out there and sound good, right? And with Download, you're basically, you're dropped off from your van like half an hour before you're on, or maybe 15 minutes before you're on, and you've got to just get all your gear out ready to go. Like you're setting up outside the tent. And as soon as that band's off, before you're just rushing on, and that's it.
It's a little bird, thrown out of the nest from the parents who were like, go fly.
Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah, that was us. And you see bands handle that so well because their setups are very, they're tour worthy. They've been doing it for years and they know exactly what they're doing. But we're still kind of new to this, aren't we, in a way? So it was kind of terrifying thinking, I hope this all. You have that pre-gig anxiety that kind of just doesn't really go away until you step on stage, and then it doesn't really matter what happens after that. But yeah, it was kind of terrifying experience, but also amazing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So I think I know what the answer is going to be, but what's been your favourite show that you've played so far?
I think. Well, okay, I'll let you go first. Actually.
I think my favorite show was the Boston Music Room in London with Deathblooms, actually.
Okay.
I think that was my favorite show. It just felt like it was the first time for me to that I realized there were people there for us, like singing the songs. I've never seen anything like that. Like in my entire music, believe it or not, I've done music before and I played in bands, and that was the first time I've seen it, and it was just mind blowing. It was just beautiful. And I just like the whole vibe because it was the end of a tour, and it was like, the night where you kind of have to give it all you got, and that was just incredible for me. just the energy in the place. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, I think it might. It's really, really hard to say actually. It's either that one or like the last show we did with Hacktivist at the Underworld, Camden Underworld. Or Download. I think in a way, like, I preferred the Underworld show with Hacktivist because the Boston Music Room one with Deathblooms, I had to play for Deathblooms straight after that show. So you know that you can't fully be like, right, I'm gonna get smashed after this. Just, let my head on, whatever. Like, you're just like, I'm going to go find a towel and then just get Paul to rub black eyeliner in my eyes and just put up these smelly gloves in my face.
Yeah.
And then the Download one, it was kind of, it's definitely like up there, of course, but it's I guess like,
I was so stressed out. I remember because I don't know about you, because you were getting ready, but I've got this kind of last minute podcast appearance because somebody wasn't there or something. So they got me on this podcast, Sappening podcast with Paul and Stephen, as everyone falls. And I was like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, does anybody know who I am? Absolutely not. So I had to do that and then walk to the stage and play the show. So I was like so tense. So maybe that's the reason why I didn't feel like completely, relaxed. But
there was just a lot.
Nevertheless,
going
I really
on,
enjoyed it.
right?
It was fun. But.
Yeah. And I think like with the RIP stage, you had a lot of people who were like kind of I guess they weren't like ready to go full ham yet. They were like, this is it's not quite
it's beginning of the festival.
Yeah.
You're kind of warming up, like
And it felt like people were there just kind of to watch and enjoy stuff, but. And I guess like the difference is that when you're playing like, with a band that's headlining a venue, everyone's there to just get sweaty because it's just a one-off thing, isn't it?
One night.
Yeah. Kind of, it was obviously early on in the Downloader weekend, that one. Still incredible, obviously.
Yeah.
The hate show was just mad because the stage it's an iconic venue, the Underworld. Obviously was wanted to play that venue. And I felt like our sound was really good that night. I just felt like it was,
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
Lee Johnson.
Just, the sound can make such a big difference. And I guess that Download one, our sound was quite hard to like gauge whether it was good or not. I couldn't really hear much, but they've all been incredible shows, haven't they? Like, every single show we play is a privilege, like just to be there. I feel so lucky.
Do you think you may ever recruit any other permanent members into Lake Malice at all?
Maybe not.
I kind of want to, but I just want us to become very rich first. I feel like it makes sense for everybody, to be in a project where everybody just puts like the same method and puts the same ideas and the same expenses are coming back, because that's also like a side of it, the financial side of things. Like, we don't want to put this kind of commitment to anybody else that is not ready to commit. But I kind of feel like we already have an official member in Jamie who's playing drums for us. It's just, you don't see him in marketing material, but he's always there playing drums for us, and I feel like he's literally like a brother to me. And I don't know, like, if we really couldn't make it for one show, then you get another drummer. But ideally, I'd like him to be there all the time. I just think he's just amazing under every aspect, And you also want like a talented person who's also like really nice to be around, because you have to do so many things together, and he's just that kind of person. Yeah. So that's how I feel about him.
I mean, I think the thing that's kind of stopped us, I guess, from turning this project into like a 5-piece or whatever, is our previous experiences. So I've always had really tough time finding committed people, and there's so many criteria to fulfill, isn't there? Like, they've got to be like down to earth and committed, but just have the right temperaments and things to make it all work.
And I just I had the same experience. We wanted it to be easy, and we wanted two heads in it. I felt like that's what we needed at the time.
And I think it's part of the reason why for us this project has been more successful than our previous projects is because it has been easy, hasn't it, to just make decisions. Like writing is more streamlined. There's less, people to sign off, the parts and things.
Yeah.
There are like drawbacks to doing a duo. Financially, it's pretty hard, like splitting everything between two, especially at this point where we're quite early on still. There's not really any money coming back to us, really at this point. So it is financially difficult, but I think, the reason why we've been able to just do so much is because we are, it's just two people that have to have their shit together and not five, and it's really, that's always been the problem for me is having, full bands of, I don't know how I really don't know how big bands make it work. I don't know how Slipknot made it work. That sounds like a nightmare.
They're rich.
Yeah, well, they are now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's, I don't know, but yeah, to answer the question, I think it's definitely aspiration for us is to have more of what you hear in the songs played live and less of reliance on the backing tracks because
we want to do that.
We're already working on ways of doing that.
Yes.
But I think it will happen when the right people show up at the right time and it will make sense to do it. So yeah, well, who knows when it'll be, but hopefully
soon.
Hopefully soon.
So Magic Square, where did the idea for the video come from?
Our brains.
Wow. No way.
Our sick brains. Oh my God, where did they come from? We, the typical horror movie where a few people go to a house on holiday and they get murdered. That's the kind of that comes from the lyrics really. Like the song is just about this it's kind of not up and coming, what's the word to say? Rising. Help me, you're the English speaking person here.
Oh shit. I mean I think you speak better English than me most of the time.
I really don't.
I'm not gonna lie.
We did for during the pandemic, probably even before then, but there's been this kind of uprising, true crime documentaries and this kind of obsession with just gory content in general that is about real life though. So the idea of having everything covered in blood and making it American Psycho came from a mix between these kind of true documentaries ideas, but then also movies that really we're really passionate about, which I couldn't even mention one right now, but we're both fan of horror.
Yeah, I think it was we'd gone through the sort of the sort of winter period of hibernating and just watching everything on Netflix, basically. And then wasn't it, at that time, just full of documentaries on
shocking stuff.
Evil people.
First thing I think about is Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah,
that was absolutely insane. There's so many others on top of that, but it was just I
think the thing with doing a video with the sort of budget that we have is that you can't really go too technical or too complex of your idea because you're shooting for one day, and even the most simple idea is going to be hard to do in one day with just one cameraman, no director, no make. It's just there's no budget for this thing. It's just we're paying a guy to film it and that's it. And so you have to keep your ideas quite reserved in a way.
Because initially the idea was for me to murder you and Jamie, but the murder scene was gonna get quite difficult with a chainsaw. So we thought, why don't we just make it a little more visual, just keep it quiet. It's kind of funny as well. I think we learned a lesson about how cold it can get being covered in fake blood in the middle of a field at night in winter with just one layer of clothing on. And I had these wide contact lenses, so I couldn't see anything. So they were literally guiding me in the woods to tell me, okay, you need to go here, the camera is here, and I had this fake blood going into my eyes and it was burning because my eyes had a lot lenses in. So I was blind, it was cold, and it was burning my eyes. Worth it. It was
fun though. It was really fun.
The Airbnb, because that was an Airbnb, and they didn't laugh.
we were like, if we just like put like dust sheets down and just like get a lot of fake blood everywhere, is that cool?
And they were like, yeah. I was like, sure. So, yeah, kudos to the couple.
She was amazing, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, really, really relaxed about
Really
the whole
nice,
thing.
yeah.
And there were llamas.
They were alive. They were fine. The llamas were great. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's incredible. The video looks so polished and
thank you.
Really, really well made.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean,
thank you, Loki.
We work with Loki Films.
He's so good.
So
yeah,
it's a guy called Sean who's based in Lincoln, and he does videos for lots of bands, but he charges an incredible rate for what you get. Honestly, he's so affordable. If that guy ever stops doing what he does, I don't know what bands will do. There won't be as many cool videos around, that's for sure. Yeah. He's nuts.
That's for Sean.
I don't know if you guys have seen the video. What's that Sleep Token track in the mansion?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I can't remember the name, but it's like a spider outside.
Yeah, he does like all sleep.
Kind of.
He does all Sleep Tokens videos pretty much, and they look phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
he's just got an insane. He does Lorna Shore. He does loads of bands, but he's just so affordable. It's amazing. Like he's a great guy. So yeah. Props to Loki Films for always having our back, basically.
Yeah, well, it's a great choice. I've seen some of the bands that he's worked with. You know, kind of like Skindred, Hacktivist.
Yeah.
I'm like you look through that, and it's like that's why this video looks so good. It is just
you can tell.
It's a great choice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, love that guy.
Never worked with him again. So.
Right, it's time for the quick fire round, I think, now, if you're ready for that.
Well, I've just smashed a coffee, so let's go. I'm ready.
Okay. What was the first album you owned?
Meteora by Linkin Park.
Oh, Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park.
Hybrid Theory, purist.
I was before you. I got in there before you.
Yeah, you're older. 1 year older. It makes sense.
That makes all the difference. Probably wasn't the first album I owned, actually, but it's the first album that I can remember I owned. So really enjoyed it, yeah.
What would be your death row meal? So you get a starter, a main, a dessert, and a drink.
I don't do starters, so we'll just go with main, and I will have my hometown from Italy has like a typical dish. It's not very vegan friendly, so I apologize. You can make a vegan version though. Which is called panissa, and it's like this risotto from my region. I think it's Carnaroli risotto with like beans and like I think pork fat and like red wine and onions and salami. It's the heaviest thing you could ever eat, and then they put like parmesan on top, and it's amazing. But yeah, you can take it with a meat and just with beans and red wine and and the beans have to be the local ones. And then I will have crepe with Nutella as a dessert. And that's it. And I can die happy.
Wow.
The drink has to be red wine, again, from my region. It's called, it's like fizzy red wine. I know it's very not typical here in England.
Yeah, that's an unusual one.
Yeah. Ooh, so good, so good. It's called Bonarda or Barbera. There's a few types. That's my favorite. Like I drink it every day. I have a problem. What about you?
I would ask whoever's like going to execute me if they could just drown me in satay sauce, and that would be my meal as well as my punishment.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
You would drink it as well.
I would drink it. I'd probably drink my way out of it and then run away. Aha. A couple of years back, my flatmate at the time, he made the best meal that I could probably never eat again if I want to live, is fried chicken. Which I don't know what he does to make it so good, but it's insane the way he makes fried chicken. But we were dipping it in caviar, and it sounds mental, but it's like the most lavish thing ever. It's pretty mad. So yeah, fried chicken dipped in caviar, my main. I missed
so classy.
I don't know what I'd have for starter. Maybe something to do with satay sauce for a starter, but dessert, I think like cheesecake. Maybe quite like cheesecakes.
You just want to copy what I said.
Did you say
Tell them the truth. No, crepes and Nutella.
What was he thinking at the time? Yeah, and it's hard to say like what my favorite drink is. Probably say anything with coffee. Like I'm on a bit of like espresso martini hype at the moment, so Yeah, like right now I'll take one of those, like a strong espresso martini.
Right before bed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm not really much of a foodie. I just like things that will probably kill me in like 5 years.
Okay, so what was the first gig you ever watched?
I distinctly remember seeing Green Day with my mum. That was pretty sick. Well, I know there were some bands before that. Ah, fuck, what are they called? I've forgotten the name.
Backstreet Boys?
No. Bullets and Octane, that was it. I remember being at a Bullets and Octane gig. Do you ever heard those guys?
The name rings a bell.
The
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still a thing, but yeah, Bullets and Octane. That was me.
I think mine was A Day to Remember. I was in
Okay.
that phase. That phase, you know.
That phase.
Yeah, it was on Valentine's Day. They had like heart-shaped balloons flying around. It was very cheesy. Yeah, I don't even remember the supports. I tend to forget a lot of things, so it's a miracle I remember this, to be honest. Yeah.
It's always hard to like pinpoint the very first gig, but like
Yeah.
it's like I just remember like my mom taking me to like lots of gigs and I was like too young to go myself, and that was amazing. Like she took me to see Metallica a couple of times, Iron Maiden, yeah, like Green Day and stuff like that. It was really cool. Definitely planted the seed for wanting to play music for sure.
What are your favourite crisps?
Oh, that's got me off guard, that one. Okay, actually no, I do know. Do you want to go first?
I don't like crisps that much.
Don't like it.
No, I really like. I eat chocolate. Like I was literally eating chocolate now. I was like, I'm sweet tooth person, so if I have to choose, maybe Pringles. But
Pringles are a pretty solid choice, aren't they? I think like they're really hard to get hold of, but they're like the flaming hot Cheetos swirls. They're like the really like fluffy, crunchy swirls. They're huge as well. They're like the size of your thumb. And they're so more rich. You can just they only sell huge packets, and yeah, you can just go to town on like bloody like family size pack of them if you can find them. I know.
I've never seen those
No,
anywhere.
I was going to say I've seen the normal flaming Cheetos, but not those ones.
Oh, yeah, they're really hard to find. Like I think they're normally. Yeah, I'm inventing a crisp because I don't know. I'm just inventing one on the spot. That does not sound like it, to be fair. Very awkward. Yeah, I think like smaller like off licenses and things tend to have them more than the supermarkets. But look out for them, and if you do see them, you will not regret them. They're incredible. I get sad every time I can't find them in a supermarket. I look every time.
A lot of times then.
Yeah.
So you're an emo.
Triggered by
Very
Chris.
sad.
Yeah.
What would be your dream tour lineup? And you can include yourselves on that lineup if you want to.
Wow. That's a mad one. Does it have to be bands which are like currently active?
No,
So,
you
like,
can pick any band you want.
Even people who are
right.
dead.
Wow. Okay. Should we do a joint tour
You're gonna
lineup?
look at the Beatles. What are you going to bring up? Currently active.
I'm just wondering. I don't know. Like, just checking. Like,
That's so
well, no, because like, okay, so
the Beatles.
one of my favorite bands who are no longer active are called Let Live. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh yeah, Let Live. Yeah.
They like, well, yeah. The front man for Let Live has like the most incredible energy like I've ever seen. Yeah, they're great bands. But okay, so let's do a joint. Let's do a joint tour, shall we?
Yeah.
So we'll pick like 2 each, I guess.
Okay.
So
I was
the-
like definitely like Poppy as a headliner.
Okay, yeah. Poppy's our headliner. Can we get Grimes on the bill as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Poppy, Grimes. Are we playing? Should we play? We should definitely play. I think we should play. We're going to play. And I thought we did some heavier stuff on there as well. So I'm going to throw out there Linkin Park. Not that heavy, but yeah.
I've never seen them live.
No, I never actually got to see them live either, which sucks.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh my god, yeah, that would be the dream.
This is a mad
If they
tour.
were, yeah.
And Venga Boys?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, cool. Sorted. That's going to be mad.
That's a great mix.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything in there.
Makes no sense.
That'll be selling out like just every
In
arena.
20 years.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Cool, I'm down for that tour.
Right, next one is, what's your pre-gig drink?
Gin and tonic for me, just because it doesn't make me burp as much as beer, and if I'm singing, I don't want to have to burp because it will interrupt the singing. So, yes,
Yeah, I don't really have much of a ritual like pre-gig. I drink a lot of water though. Like I'm just someone that gets like
so crazy,
incredibly
so crazy.
thirsty. Like I get so dehydrated. And the only thing that I feel like hydrates me is water, so I'm just sipping water all day long, all the time. I feel like coffee can sometimes actually make me kind of anxious, but I do love coffee. But I try not to have coffee too close to playing. Say water. I save like beers and stuff for after we've played because like, you want to go up and like have a shot, clear head and stuff. And
I mean, if Paul was here, we'll say you need to have a shot before going on stage.
Oh yeah. If I was,
we usually like refuse.
Yeah. Sometimes it is nice to have like a beer, but it just depends. Like, depends how my tummy is. Like, I need to visit the toilet a couple of times for playing a gig. It's like a big gig.
Let's not open that.
And like, yeah, I think water is the safe bet.
Yeah.
Pandora's box.
Okay, so what biscuit are you?
I'm a fancy biscuit that they only find in Home Sense.
Well, that is definitely you.
Oh my god, they're so good. It's like these. It's called biscottoni, which means like big biscuits, and I think they're made in Italy. That's why I buy them. And I always find them sometimes, not all the time. They're just these massive. Can you describe them better than me?
Yeah,
they're big biscuits.
They're just like quite crumbly, thin-ish things that you dip in coffee, basically.
Yeah, and they have like normal flavor, then they have cappuccino flavor, chocolate flavor. They're very simple. They're just like usually less sweet than the generic kind of British. Yeah, so I'm really into them. Whenever I find them, I'm like, what? Yeah, so biscottoni.
I think I might be like a Jaffa cake, possibly, but I'm not sure that's allowed. So
it's not a biscuit; it's a cake.
It's got the word cake in it, I guess.
Shame
I'll give
on
you
you.
that now. Okay, well, plan B then. I think I might be a bourbon biscuit.
Okay.
They're cheap. They've got like a...
They're cheap.
Because they're cheap, man. You get so many. And like, they're just the best thing to dip in a hot drink. I'm all about dipping a biscuit in a hot drink.
Well,
Do I have to like, give you more context as to why I am a bourbon biscuit?
I wouldn't go.
I wasn't quite sure.
I wouldn't go there, Blake.
Right,
Because
okay.
you just said it's because it's cheap, and you don't want to end up saying you're cheap.
I mean, I am.
I will stop there.
I'm cheap, crumbly, and sometimes I've got a Tesco value sticker on me.
Yeah,
That's
you.
me. Yeah, I'm a knockoff brand of bourbon biscuits.
Delicious.
Right, last one in the quickfire round then is, what was the last song that you listened to?
What's the last song?
I have it here. Sorry, give me a second. It's probably open. I was listening to City and Color.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. I was feeling a little anxious in the car and I needed to chill, so we just put on City and Color. And I want to chill. It's called Murderer. From City and Color. I just want to chill. So yeah, I guess.
I think the last song I remember hearing was Shimigami Eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we play it all the time.
Yeah, it might have been the actual last song, but it's the last one I was like, I'm listening to a song. Like, that registered in my brain as a moment listening to a song. It was Shimigami Eyes. That's by Grimes. But that's like, it's weirdly catchy. Like, I probably listened to it about 90 million times since it's been released. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Goes hard, that song. Not much metal these days, to be honest. It's quite odd. Although I'm very much like, well, I was listening to a lot of Deathblooms this year. Like, I think when I get my Spotify recap thing come through, it's going to be like 400 hours of Deathblooms. It's going to be so embarrassing.
That's cute.
Can't wait.
That's cute.
You'll definitely have to share what your recaps are. Share your Spotify highlights. I'd love some insight into that.
It's going to be eclectic as hell. Like,
it'll look
so
like we have
split
some sort of
personality disorder.
disorder. It will look like that. Yeah,
for sure.
You were filming a new video last week. We saw a few sneak peeks on Instagram. Can you tell us any more about it, and when is it going to be released?
What can we say?
Soon. Very soon.
Well, can we say like the month we're aiming to release it by?
Before September, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully September.
Time, so
yeah, there's like a few moving parts, right? That need to come together in order to get like a release date. Or not quite there with that yet, but we are hopefully September. That'll be like early September. I'm hoping.
Wait, sorry, what was the question about the video or the song?
Well, a bit of both. Can you tell us any more about the video? What's in it?
Yeah, sure. So because this is a song about codependency and in relationships, the video it is set in a church, which, well, in my head, it represented like the ultimate kind of idea of commitment, where, I'm dressed as a bride. But there's like a kind of parallelism between, this bride and the dark side of the relationship that represents her future if she does commit to this relationship, which is the toxic side of the relationship, which is not necessarily meant to be something, to be ashamed of. There's a lot of people that go through some very dark stuff and have to support one another. But because to me, that was a very selfish song where, literally in the chorus it says, I don't want to be your lifeline. So just kind of, the video just tells a story. It's not a story, it's more visual, I would say, than narrative. But yeah, it has this bride looking herself in a mirror and seeing this demon. That's the mirror, by the way, because we bought it for the video. We were like, let's keep it, it's really cool. And she sees this pregnant demon in the mirror. And yeah, there's a few, kind of things that represent certain values that to me meant, commitment, toxicity, and independence, really, against, codependency, or opposed to codependency in a relationship. And that comes from a, quite personal experience. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to reveal too much. I think like you really enjoy watching it.
To be fair, we haven't had the video like edit back yet, so we don't at this point really know what to expect either.
I know what we shot. I knew that.
We know we shot.
I wanted to do some scenes where you will have like these kind of movements repeated, from the bride's perspective and the demon's perspective, and I couldn't remember the movements, so I don't know what's it going to look like. I really don't know, so I hope it's going to look all right, but if it doesn't, this is why.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I was going to say, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
I hope it's going to be good. That's awesome.
I'm sure Sean will deliver. Like,
he'll do
I've got
magic.
every faith in Sean's ability. So,
okay, so you were talking earlier about you're working on an EP, or you were looking at putting an EP out. So, is that coming soon? Or
I think like our loose plans, kind of in the short term, are just like right. An aspiration of ours is to have a collection of songs that we can release.
In the first half
I think
of 2020.
But we've not got like solid plans to sort of share, I guess, at this point. But it's kind of inevitable that there's going to be an EP at some point next year, hopefully early next year. But yeah, like I think once we know what songs we've got and how they're sounding.
Yeah, I guess once we know what it means to us, because we've got material and we just wanted to make sense as an EP, obviously as an experience from the listener perspective. So We're just looking at what we have, what we're writing at the moment, and what needs to be finalized, and then we'll make a decision about what could go into.
Yeah, it's got to make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We want to.
But we want to do that.
I think it's quite a big thing for us is to go for an EP, and we've found that the single approach is working well, because it means that we can, because it's very expensive doing this stuff.
As a duo without a label,
cheaper in a way
yes.
to kind of as a new band. You can have a campaign around a single. You can make the most of that release that you've put your time and money into producing. I guess with an EP, it's kind of a bit like you just throw the thing out potentially, and that's it. Those songs are there to be consumed. You can't really release them again. So we're kind of waiting for the right time, the right songs for it all to happen, the right concepts and things. But hopefully more to share.
Even financially, it has to be doable for us. So.
Yeah.
We're looking at that aspect as well. But we're glad we have management and booking agent supporting us and getting us opportunities that also hopefully financially will help us to create this EP. So that's the objective. We hope we can get there. And, if not, there will be new music either way. It's just depend on the format. But
And has there been any record label interest in the band at all?
We've had talks with a couple of people. I think we're kind of it's because we're such a new band. There's not it's quite like our fan base is still growing. We're still establishing ourselves, so it's kind of finding an option that would make sense in terms of what could be offered to us. We can't expect a label to to offer huge financial investments on a product that really hasn't found its market yet in a way.
But I will say there's a few things that are still in the talks. It's just trying to understand what is in our best interest, because it's very easy for artists to say yes at the first kind of thing that comes through. And thankfully, we do have a support system, a really good team that can help us identify what can be good for us, what can could be potentially damaging. So we're taking our sweet time to evaluate what's coming through. We'll make eventually a decision, but at the moment it's all kind of in the talks, I will say. But
I think anything we do in terms of what we want to do as a project isn't really going to change. Regardless, we're still going to be doing the things we want to do. I think it just
obviously with the label on board, it will probably get faster,
move faster.
Financially, we'll have some support, but if it doesn't, we'll keep doing what the heck we want.
We don't want to rush into anything, ultimately, and I think we're quite. Because we record at home and stuff. We don't need to go to fancy studios to ultimately to do stuff. Although that would be amazing.
Exactly.
That's definitely an aspiration. But there's a lot we can get done recording at home. So and like Alicia says, we've got a really cool team behind us in terms of management. They're a group of people that just offer just really invaluable advice. And we are so naive to certain things. Without them, we would have probably really put ourselves in a bad position by now, had we not had that sort of advice. So we're just following their lead to a degree, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's good that you've got some kind of solid sort of advice there, and like you say, it's with the recording at home as well. It's things are so different to what they were 20, 30 years ago, where it just wouldn't have been possible, but now. So many more things are achievable, and it means you can get out to a bigger market as well now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's also hard to emerge, though. There's so much noise online. It's so much, because everybody can do it, as you said.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to emerge, but it's definitely easier. It allows you to get more creative more often. So definitely a plus, I would say,
Yeah, it's a weird, kind of system to get caught up in. I think the social media stats and things.
It's always a double-edged sword, I guess.
Yeah. There's some, you'll see some projects that have like really high social numbers, but that doesn't really like ever translate to like a real sort of fan base. That would
or the opposite.
Or the opposite way around.
So.
You get bands which have got huge fan bases that come and see them, but their social presence is almost like more realistic of who that fan base is.
Hard to grasp,
and it's
what's real.
Nowadays. And I think we're trying to get our heads around that, I guess, and just be, like from doing these tours this year, we've made some connections with some amazing people that have reached out to us
in real life,
seen us
amazing.
And bought our merch. And these are real people that don't just exist on the internet, occasionally liking posts. They are, they're just genuine sort of fans of the band and everything. And it's just been so crazy just for that to happen, for music we produced in a bedroom.
Yeah.
And we want to just expand on that and just, keep playing shows, I guess, and see where we can take it and not get too caught up, I think, in that sort of social media side of things, perhaps, as much as we maybe have been. But
it's funny you say that. I've kind of done the opposite of that for you guys. So we've seen you guys play twice. We've both got T-shirts. I placed an order earlier today.
Yes,
I noticed that.
Yes.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for that. We already posted it, yeah.
Yeah, but then I realised when I was sat at home that I wasn't actually following both of you from my personal Twitter. So I'd see all the updates on the podcast Twitter. And then I can't remember why, but I was on my Twitter and went, why am I not following these guys?
It's fine. Well, that connects that, like, kind of, it doesn't, if it's real, it matters more than what it's not, I think. It's so important nowadays to remember that, because people are forgetting. They have been forgetting for the last, 10 years or more. So it's good to keep, like, if you are buying more merch, you're doing so much more than even just liking a post or following a band on social media, because that's where the real support comes from. And going to shows, obviously, because that's the other, when there's stuff around, that really helps and gives the energy back, because you're playing a show live. That's when magic happens, right? You're kind of exchanging energies, and that's where the songs that you write in your bedroom come to life and mean something to somebody. So besides listening on Spotify, that's also, whatever platform, that's also like, it is better. Real is better always.
So you've just mentioned about obviously playing the shows. You've got a couple of dates coming up with Bloodywood supporting them and a couple of festivals in September. Have you got any touring plans beyond that at the moment?
Do we? I don't know, do we? We're hopefully doing some stuff, but nothing's been confirmed.
No. We don't really know, but it would be cool to get on some sort of like support slot in October. But if that doesn't happen, then it'll probably be 2023 touring opportunities rather than this year. But no, at the moment it's just those shows. Yeah. So I kind of hope people who know us and want to see us will come to those shows, because we cannot guarantee we'll be around after that.
It's been kind of I felt bad in a way with the Bloodywood shows, because we've had people like who really want to see us again being able to get tickets, because those shows were already sold out. We were announced. So I really hope you get the opportunity to play some of the big cities again. Like, I had such a great time, like, seeing some of the northern cities that I've never been to before this year. And we met some really cool people, haven't we? Like, up in Nottingham and Glasgow.
But I also really want to play Brighton, like, sooner or later, because we will be here. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but it could be in a list of things we really want to do. Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe by the end of the year, if not again 2023, but I don't know. Who knows? It could be an autumn thing. It could not. But I don't know.
Yeah, I hope we get to see you again soon.
I hope we get to see you guys again soon.
Yeah.
It was great to meet you both, like, in person.
It seems an age away.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe
Years
it's only been a couple of months, but it feels like a long time.
Mental.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy.
Well, as soon as we can get to one of your gigs, then we will definitely be there.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
I think is it Castlefest when we're away?
Yeah, and I think Burn It Down as well. We can't
Yeah.
get to that one because that's in Torquay, isn't it?
Yeah,
I would
that's-
expect,
Oh, yeah, it's
anyone
far.
who lives like outside of Cornwall to go
Yeah.
to Torquay.
Okay, so that's the end of the interview. Thanks so much, Blake and Alice, for joining us. It's been really great to chat with you again and catch up.
It's been amazing to talk to you guys as well. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's you like I think I mentioned it before, but it was like before we met at Download, I checked out your podcast because I think you spoke about your experience of the Deathblooms show in Nottingham, and you spoke a bit about us as well. So I checked out the podcast, and I instantly become a fan of of Poddy, and it was just amazing, like to sort of hear such kind words about us, and like I already knew that like it'd be easy to talk to you guys because you're just clearly very down to earth, lovely people. So yeah, we're just always happy to chat. Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, anytime.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Well, hope you enjoyed that one. We certainly did. And if you got a chance to see Lake Malice supporting Bloodywood, let us know. And if you have got tickets for Burn It Down and Castlefest, go and watch them. You will not regret it. That's about it from us this week. Again, the usual, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Just search Ready to Moshcast. So give us a like and a follow there. And if you like what you've been listening to, tell people about the podcast as well. So thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll be back next week.